Hell Comes to Frogtown. This is a movie I have seen before, but I had honestly forgotten it. I don't remember when the last time I saw this movie was, but it was a long damn time ago. And so this was requested by my patron, a new patron of mine over on patreon.com. And his name is Logan Hennemann. And I was really hoping it was going to be Rai Waicha so that I could tell him that I knew how to say his name finally. So if he's listening, there you go. I do know how to actually say her name now that you told me how to, and that I looked up the video again because I didn't want to feel like an asshole the next time. So I will be doing your movie next. I was going to watch it tonight, but shit got away from me because I played 3 hours of video games like an asshole. All right, so for those of you who do not know what Hell Comes to Frogtown is about, it is a post-apocalyptic film, of course, and it stars Roddy Piper, and this is the exact same year that he made They Live, and he looks exactly the same in it. Man, they might have just been filming back to back, who knows. But, so yeah, post-apocalyptic world, like 10 years into nuclear fallout or so. I think it said 10 years. Which, if that's accurate, did I put how many years it was? I'm pretty sure it said 10. If that's accurate, I'm not really sure how the frog people are as old as they are. Are they like mutated humans that look like frogs, or are they frogs that were mutated into humanoid type creatures and grew to human proportions and learned English and formed their own city? And in 10 years, really? Wow, okay. Sure. Now, anyway, so post-apocalyptic world, nukes go off 10 years later. And there is this government facility, this government operation that gets fertile men. And their purpose is to get them to mate for repopulation, of course. And Roddy Piper's character is known for his fucking. He is a fucker, man, and they need him. So they get him, and they test him, and he has like the highest sperm count on record. And so they put on this chastity belt so that his dick becomes government property, and if he tries to take it off, it'll blow up. And if he gets in away from his captor, it starts shocking his dick. So they are going to go into Frogtown to get these fertile young women for him to reproduce with. But the frogs in Frogtown are holding them hostage for monetary gain. I don't know, maybe they're going to pay them in, flies. Who fucking knows? Here's what's funny, though. So, Roddy Piper, he is tasked with having to go fuck a bunch of women. Now, let me tell you, if what's going to save mankind, I've seen all sorts of different movies in my life, and there's all sorts of different skill sets that you have to be able to save the world, whether it's superpowers or, a genius brain or any of these things. Let me tell you, if the world is going to depend on a guy who's going to be able to fuck women for this planet to survive, look no further. Okay, I'm the man for that job. I might not be able to fly, but I can fuck. So, anyways, it kind of reminds me of the scene in Triple X when he's gonna have the sex. That sounds like a guy who knows how to fuck, right? He's gonna have the sex with the ladies. Jesus Christ, he's gonna have sex with these girls, and he's like, the things I do for my country. It's like, yeah, man, I'm there. I'm with you. I could save the world. I could be your hero. So yeah, here's the funny thing though. So they send him out So he's supposed to go fuck these women to repopulate the earth, right? And they're being held captive by the frogs. But he's sent out by two very attractive 30s something year old women who are what? Unable to give birth? Did they mention this? They must have, and I must have missed it, but these girls could get pregnant, right? Or these are the only girls that could get pregnant. This is probably something that I just gave. When you watch movies like this, my brain just is like, what the fuck is happening, right? It's hard to pay attention to every single little word in the movie because you're just sitting there like, wait, this guy has to fuck a bunch of women he has to get these back from mutated frog humanoid beings that are out in this wasteland that is now overrun by frogs that have turned it into their own little dance club kind of. What the fuck? Like, I'm just sitting there. When I watch movies like this, I'm always just kind of sitting there thinking, somebody got this made. Like, any pitch that you're worried about, like if you have a script, I've written lots of scripts, and I go to movies like this. Now, we live in different times, but that being said, if you've ever written a script and you're thinking, oh, I don't know, man, I don't know, my idea might be way too out there. Hell in Frogtown exists. And in addition to that, there are three. As far as I saw, okay, on IMDb it says there's 3 sequels, but then there's a 4th movie that's next to it in the like you might like as well kind of thing, and it's another title in that series. So as far as I could see, there was 4 sequels to this damn thing, and all of them have horrendous IMDb ratings. Now, IMDb ratings for me are not science by any means, and nor do I really trust them. But there are specific factors that I will pay attention to, and that is anything below a 4 is almost always going to be trash. Anything under a 3, fucking forget about it. It is garbage. And anything under a 2 is 100 trillion% absolute dog shit, for sure. As I said, even 3, under 3 is bad. One of the sequels is a 1.9. That's hard to do. That's a hard fucking number to hit. So, and the other ones are like 3.5 and like 2 point something, 2.7 or whatever. It's bad news. Even this one, I want to say has like this has like a 5 point something. So, but yeah, I was looking at the sequels like, wow, and they're all directed by the same guy who did this. And all right, getting back to the movie. So he's got this chastity belt on, and there's a little flap in the front for him to get his dick out. Now, she says that it like senses his hard-ons for the flap to be able to open, and her job is to keep him horny, and she's learned these techniques to turn people on, like seduction techniques, like a freaking Black Widow or something, but she's not all that good at it, but he's kind of like falling for her, and she doesn't want him wasting his sperm. Does she really, does she know how sperm works? Like, you could impregnate like 5-6 chicks a day, no problem. Like, and that's just good old-fashioned sex. I'm not talking about like taking it out in a vial and impregnating girls like that, which is probably how they would actually do it if he was so special. I mean, make him jack off a bunch of times and freeze the stuff, and then have him also go out there and get it so that you have a reoccurring stock there in his pants. But this is such a fucking ridiculous movie. This is such a ridiculous movie to even talk about. What the hell am I talking about? When I'm talking about it, I'm like, is this fucking real? Yes, it is. But yeah, I just don't know why because she's supposed to essentially like fluff him. She's like getting him ready so he's all hot and bothered, and that increases his sperm count so he can impregnate these girls. It's like, if his sperm count is as high as you say it is, I mean, you act like he only has 10 shots left in there. And if those don't go, then the human race dies out. A, there's other guys out there that you can get. B, like, he could fuck these girls 50 to 100 times. I mean, I have children. I had sex a whole hell of thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And even when I was trying during the kids, we tried hundreds of times before it actually happened. So you can go. You can go a few times. So when the girl wants to fuck him and the girl is, the girl and the girl there, that really narrows it down. So one of the girls is the chick from the episode of The X-Files called Lazarus, which is Scully's old partner becomes possessed by the spirit of this dead, like, bank robber or robber or something. And so that's her. And in that episode, she plays this character, Lula. I did not find her attractive at all in that episode. But in this movie, she's pretty hot, I have to say. She's got a great body. She takes it all off. She's hot, man. And she wants to fuck Roddy Piper's character, or Sam Hell, since that's where the title comes from. Hell comes to Frogtown. And the main blonde girl here, the hell's her name in this? He says it like 600 times too, so I'm bad with names. But she's like, no, I can't have sex with you. And then she stops her from having sex with him. And then they catch this girl who is being held hostage by them and is like hogtied. And then they inject her with some like date rape concoction that gets her all hornballed out. And then he has sex with her. And then when they wake up in the morning, he's cleaned her and she's thankful for him having had sex with her against her will, but in a drug-induced horny state. But she wakes up clean, which I don't know how he would clean her. They're out in the desert with very little water. Anyway, he didn't waste it, but he cleaned her up. And then she's all like, oh, thank you. And it's like, you were trying to get away. You were hogtied. You wanted nothing to do with these people. And then he fucks you. I mean, this guy's good. I mean, he can rape a girl, essentially, and she can thank him in the morning. Wow. They said he's legend in this movie. They were like, your fucking abilities is legend. And dude, I mean, from what he was able to pull off there, wow. That's some crazy shit. Anyway. All right. Could you imagine the government owning your genitalia and you were forced? Because this movie's like kind of all about rape, whether it's one way or the other. Like forcing a man to have sex with people. Now, here's the thing. In the movie and in real life, especially, in the movie especially, but in real life too, would kind of factor in here. Because I know, I'm a guy. I've dealt with stuff like this in the past. Like, if this movie was the other way around, let's say we had a woman and she was the fertile one and they had to mate her and it was like put a chastity belt on her and was like, we own your genitalia and you'll fuck who we tell you to fuck and you're going to have kids with them. This would be a completely different movie. But because it's a guy who's being forced to fuck all these hot women, we just look at it like, oh, this guy's fantasies coming to life. And it's like, and I can see that because I've kind of dealt with stuff like that in my life. I've had women come on to me in the salon, older women, and I've told people about it, where they're grabbing at my body, they're fucking saying crazy things to me. And you tell people and they laugh. They're like, laugh. And I get it. Trust me. I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, I was abused and no one thought it was. No, it was funny. But if I was a woman, they would have called the police. So there's a total double standard with that kind of stuff. Though I didn't come up and cry about it. But just telling the story the way I did, if I was a woman, forget it. And in this movie, yes, he is forced by the government, who puts a chastity belt over his dick, and a girl sits there and fluffs him and makes her rape a girl. She is hogtied and drugged, and he fucks her. That is full on rape, and both sides. They're making him fuck her. He should have been like the dude in Seven. He made me fuck her. But I mean, as I said, there is a moral problem here too, of course. So as hot as it may be, I like towards the end of the movie, there's like 5 hot chicks and he has to fuck them all, right? It's like Pokemon for sex or something. You got to fuck them all. And so she got him back in the car, and he looks back, and I was going to say this for the end, but it's going to my point here. Looks back and there's a bunch of hot chicks, but he's really into the blonde that's next to him. And it's like, shit, like the things I have to do for my country and this and that. And it's this cute ending montage, whatever, of like, oh my God, I have to fuck all these beautiful women. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And they seem like they're willing participants as far as I can tell. They're eyeballing him, this and that. He's one of the only men left that can give them what they need or what they want. I don't know if they want it or not, if they've been brainwashed into it, whatever it is. But the first girl he has sex with is kidnapped, hogtied, drugged, fucked, and in the morning she just so happened to not be mad about it. So, you can kind of look past the ethical standpoint there, but this movie definitely takes some liberties when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just was watching this like, you're forcing him, this is rape, this is morally fucking questionable. It's all funny, but because it's a guy and a chick, it doesn't really matter. All right, moving on. And okay, we already talked about all this, and we got Farmer Vincent in here from Motel Hell. Always good to see him. We got a bondage slave chick here. The blonde girl goes full bondage slave. We got the Leia homage. This is 5 years post Return of the Jedi. And the frogs. I like I like the prosthetics and the animatronics and all that stuff on the frogs. They're pretty cool, especially like Froggy or whatever the hell his name was. With his eyelids coming up and down, his eyes moving around. I thought the effects on him were really cool. Now, the female one is much more humanoid. And this guy, like the male frogs, seem to be much more frog-like, like actual frog faces. And the woman in this, and I don't remember if there's another woman. There might be. I think there is. But regardless if there is or there isn't, I like how she wants to have sex with Roddy Piper. I mean, species don't even, care here. Women want him, frogs want him, fucking horses want him, whatever. He's just too irresistible. Every species wants him. But she's like, I love it, I want to fuck you and all this. And he's like, here, put on a bag over your head. It reminds me of like Christian Troy and Nip Tuck. It's like, damn, man, that's brutal. And he's just going to run out on her anyway. But he's got to save it. He's got to make sure he keeps it on in those pants. And so I was going somewhere with one of those things. I don't know what the hell I was going to say. But so he has a chastity belt on, and the fucking frog takes a chainsaw and cuts this thing off of him. And this is pressed up against his body. Cuts it off with a chainsaw, a metal chastity belt. Not only does he actually successfully cut the thing off, but somehow, magically, does not harm Roddy Piper at all. No way. And the way it's set up, you'd have to cut it at 2 different places for it to fall in half like that. And he didn't touch his skin at all. And then when they cut back and they show him tied up, he's like wearing something over him. His hands were up here. And the frog was the only other one in the room. And he has like underwear and stuff over that. So under the chastity belt, where there was a flap, you also had to move aside a bunch of undergarments as well. I mean, I get it. They didn't want to show his dick, but why even show it at all? Like, just show him from the waist up. I just, it's a weird decision. Like, they don't need to show that area. And when they do, it brings into the question, how was he wearing that under the chassis belt? And how did they get his dick out? And I don't even understand. Like, he was going to fuck him in Frogtown. Why does he even need to get his dick out in the first place? They're just going to go to Frogtown, get them, and bring them back, and then he can fuck, and they can take the chassis belt off. So why does he even need access to the thing? Except for maybe to piss. But that could have had like some kind of, you know, some drainage on it or something. Drainage! Now we're talking fucking There Will Be Blood. I drink from your milkshake. I love Daniel Plainfield. Okay. And the dance of the three snakes. So frogs have three snake dicks, I guess. And she's like, looks at all three of them. Funny as hell. Now, the frogs remind me that this movie kind of harkens back to like something like Super Mario Brothers with King Koopa and freaking Tank Girl with the kangaroos, the Ice Tea, right? It's Ice Tea, yeah. The some wacky ass movies out there. Always love seeing that kind of stuff. Any kind of movies like this, you've always got my attention because I just sit there the whole time like, wow, I can't get a script fucking made, and these guys got this made. Guess they should have been around when cocaine was as popular as it was. And somehow Rory Calhoun's the Farmer Vincent's character here, has the most terrifying flare gun in all of history. So he shoots one up in the air towards, like, past a frog who screams out, but then we never see him again. And then there's like 5 armed frogs that are about to shoot. They have them all dead to right. Roddy and his chicks that he's gotten together after the chick kicks the dude in the dick 3 different times. The 3 different dickheads. She has to kick each individual dick. She's got good fucking aim right there. But anyway, so he shoots a flare gun at him, reloads it, and shoots another one at him in like half a second. I'm not sure how he did that. He's fast for his age, especially since Roddy said he was 80 when he was born, and he's like 40 now. So that guy's like 120. He's got like Kirk Douglas freaking longevity. But yeah, he shoots that at them, and they freak out. And then he shoots another one, and they're like, oh my God. It's a flare gun. It's a fucking flare gun. What's so scary about that? I mean, yes, if you shot a flare gun at me, don't get me wrong, that would be scary, but that wouldn't be the end of me. I mean, unless you like shot it into my freaking mouth. We're talking like Friday the 13th part 5 here or something. Fucking rat-a-tat-tat-tooey. But yeah, like, I don't... The flare gun thing in this is so weird to me. Why? Why? Then you have an actual cliffhanger at the end here where the guy's hanging from the cliff and he cuts his hand off. I would have thought he would have cut his head off. And then the girl has to hand him his sword that's right here. So it's right here, and she has to pull it up. So she has to make a sudden movement for him to make a sudden movement and to coordinate the sudden movements in order to grab it and pull a long-ass freaking sword out of this sheath in the back of his back here. And he's going to pull it out and throw it. Okay, so if John McClane can grab a freaking taped gun on the back of his back there and pull it out and shoot Hans out the window of Nakatomi Plaza, I'm pretty sure he could have grabbed it. It would have been way less sudden movements from a guy who's aiming a fucking rocket launcher at you, which didn't work. Although he probably did pull the trigger. Because we find out later that the thing doesn't even work. So he's probably like pulled it like 16 times before he actually threw that thing. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's just funny to me. He's like, and he's telling her like they're not 10 feet apart. The guy's sitting right there and they're out in the quiet desert. This isn't some big finale sequence where they're in a town and there's freaking noise pollution all around them. There's not like, you know, cars honking and people talking and loud noise and all this stuff. Like, it is fucking pitch silent. And here he's like, grab the sword and hand it to me. And then the other girl's like, come on. And the girl's like, I'm a pacifist. And this guy's not noticing any of this, standing right there. Of course, I'm breaking this down logically, and this movie's not to be thought of logically, but you know, that's what I like. This is fun. And then, so he has the big frog fight where the frog busts him in the face. He has blood all over his face. And keep in mind, yet again, this is in the desert. There's no water readily available. And when he comes back to the car, his face is magically cleared. One of the great things about They Live is after the iconic back alley fight sequence that's like an insane amount. It's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, some crazy 6 minutes. I can't remember. They recreated it on South Park. It's a long ass fight. What I love about it is that the next day or later that day, their faces are swollen, they're bruised, they can barely see and all that. It's like super realistic. And then this one, it's like the exact opposite. He's bloodied and his face is all bashed. And then 2 minutes later, he comes down to the car in the middle of the desert and his face is, I mean, he looks like he just got out of the shower. It is clean. They could eat off of it. So, I don't know, that was so funny when I saw it. I was like, really? You cleaned up your face, huh? It looks really nice. Good job, buddy. And then, he has to go bang a bunch of hot chicks. And he gives, like, his wife's necklace to the girl who he didn't fuck instead of the new girl he wants to fuck and, like, date. So he's like, here's a necklace. It's something to keep you, like, when you're alone at night. What's she gonna do? Masturbate with the necklace? She gonna like attach beads to it and make it like into anal beads? Like, what importance does that have to her? Like, the other girl knew what it was. So I don't get that one. Why the hell did he give that girl the necklace? Is it like a consolation prize? Is that what that is? Like, I know you both wanted me, but I'm going to take the blonde. But hey, you can have my dead wife's necklace. Like, wow, bro. I mean, you could have at least thrown her the bang that she was deserving of. And of all, you know, if you're banging all these other girls, it's not like you can't be like, hey, look, honey, she wanted a bang too. She helped us out. She's a hero. She took one in the shoulder for us. She saved us. She pulled in like Egg Shen and freaking Big Trouble in Little China. We all piled into the truck and drove off into the sunset where I get to fuck all these hot women. Like, I could throw her one too, right? Like, I will have already impregnated all these girls. She's horny. She deserves it. Look at this. This is pillow talk. This is how you keep a relationship fresh. All right, man. Oh, the only song that I really ever hear in this movie is the infamous "When Johnny Comes Marching Home." And anytime I hear that song, I'm always reminded. It's funny. I was just talking about Hans Gruber. No. Simon Gruber. Okay, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Anytime I hear "When Johnny Comes Marching Home," I think of Die Hard with a Vengeance. Great fucking movie. One of the best sequels. Although I did do a minor gripes or the random gripes with great movies on that movie. Because of the water bottle sequence, which I think is ridiculous. But outside of that, anyways, that's it. I had fun, man. 30-minute video for this whole fucking thing. Oh my good God. Of course, I just got it ranting. Of course, if it's going to be sex, if I have to talk about fucking women, and of course I'm going to rant for way too long. This is what happens when you're single and you have no sex life. You talk about hell comes to Frogtown and fucking women and the ethical, like, ramifications, and I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. It's late. I gotta go to bed. So thank you to Logan for suggesting this. If you want to become a patron, yes, I'm gonna plug my Patreon here. If you're still here at the end, you're probably already a patron. You're probably just Logan, but so hi, Logan. But if you want to become a patron, you want to get me to review a movie, come on over. I have all different tier levels, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to fucking sell you anything anymore. All right, guys. Adios.